my interest in feminism and in women's rights came about partly in response to sort of stumbling across an extraordinary text written by a woman in 1795. I know that sounds a bit implausible. But I was quite a late comer to the women's rights thing because, in my generation, I grew up under Margaret Thatcher and I was raised by a single mom. So I just thought women run everything.
From her best-selling books to campaigning and public speaking, Bee Rowlatt has dedicated her career to amplifying women's voices, both past and present. She credits the work of Mary Wollstonecraft, the Enlightenment thinker who first demanded equality for the sexes, as a turning point in her own life and career.
Most people have heard of her daughter, Mary Shelley, right? But they don't know that Mary Wollstonecraft was this amazing, incredible pioneer who stepped into a space that was utterly dominated by men and kind of held her own and wrote these extraordinary calls for political equality.
Rowlatt's work is as varied as it is impactful. Her first book, talking about Jane Austen in Baghdad, co-written with an Iraqi academic, highlighted both the resilience and the risks faced by women during wartime.
The book charts her escape from Iraq during the time of the invasion. We became close friends, and then the challenge came to get her out. And it took 4 years. And the book kind of details that and ends with the true story of her now living here. So that sort of opened up my eyes to women's lives around the world, what's different and what's the same. And, I learned a lot from her courage, and it was extraordinary to be in daily contact with someone that was in a war zone.
Later, Rowlatt turned her focus to Mary Wollstonecraft, retracing her 18th century journey across Europe and leading the campaign to establish a memorial in her honor at London's Newington Green.
So the idea with that, again, was to, locate her in this place, in the place where she lived, worked, and made a difference. Her writing went around the world, but this is where it began. And off the basis of that, I also, we set up the Wollstonecraft Society, which is a registered charity dedicated to using Mary Wollstonecraft's story and her ideas.
Since setting up the Wollstonecraft Society, Rowlatt works to introduce young people to human rights education, providing free classroom materials to help children understand what these rights are and why they must be defended.
The materials developed by the Wollstonecraft Society have at their core the idea of human rights. What are human rights? Where did they come from? Could they also be taken away? I mean, you have to know what human rights are to be able to appreciate and defend them. You have to also acknowledge the human rights of others. So it's about sort of an expansive idea of a shared common humanity, but trying to do that in a way that's sort of interesting and appealing and fun for young people.
And Rowlatt's efforts haven't gone unnoticed. In January, she was awarded an MBE from the King for her services to women's rights, recognition she never imagined when her journey first began.
Getting to meet the King and tell him about Mary Wollstonecraft was kind of a thrill. He was great. He was really interested in the history, and it was a really wonderful moment of recognition. It was very exciting.
As for what comes next, Rowlatt continues her work at the British Library while developing new projects for the Wollstonecraft Society, ensuring the thinker's legacy reaches classrooms across the country.
Next big steps for the Wollstonecraft Society are we've got a fantastic project manager called Emma who's running the programmes in Hull, but we hope very much to be able to expand this to different places where Wollstonecraft lived. So the idea is of having a local hero, as your slot is called. The idea is that children can learn about a local hero in a way that's really easy for teachers as well, because it's great to learn about someone that lived in your neighbourhood that did something amazing. So the idea is to take the work of the charity and move into more areas because she travelled around a lot where Wollstonecraft was based, to make those connections.
In all aspects of her work, Bee Rowlatt is proving that history's most radical voices still have lessons for today and for the future. For London TV, I'm Cait Medearis.